So how often have you gotten a bit frustrated with Siri,
Hmm.
and then you remember, wait, this is Apple. They build everything themselves, right? Masters of the seamless experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if I told you there are these whispers, actually more like full reports now, that Apple might be looking outside their own famous walled garden
Yeah.
to finally get Siri up to speed with modern AI?
Yeah, it's pretty significant news.
It feels huge. It's potentially this massive shift for one of the most vertically integrated companies out there.
Yeah.
We're going to dig into an article from The Verge, just out June 30th, 2025, and it's citing a Bloomberg report.
And what makes this really stand out is, well, Apple's whole history, right? Their DNA is about developing core tech in-house. This isn't just like tweaking an app.
No.
It could signal a real change in strategy for a really fundamental product. So our mission here for this deep dive is to unpack it all. Like, which partners are they actually talking to?
Yeah.
What challenges has Apple hit internally that might be forcing their hand? And maybe most importantly, what could this all mean for AI assistants? Not just Siri, but, the whole field. We want to pull out the key insights from this reporting for you.
Okay, so the big news, the driver here, according to Mark Gurman at Bloomberg via The Verge, is that Apple is reportedly thinking about using OpenAI, maybe Anthropic, to power a smarter Siri. This comes as they're apparently still struggling to build what they call an LLM Siri. Basically, a Siri that can actually converse, powered by a large language model like ChatGPT uses.
And that's a really key bit of detail. The article points out that Apple apparently asked both OpenAI and Anthropic to make versions of their LLMs just for testing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, specifically on Apple's private cloud setup. So this isn't just like kicking the tires casually. It's proper hands-on evaluation inside their own secure space.
And this isn't exactly a new problem for them, is it? I mean, they've been wrestling with this AI-powered Siri for a while. They even pushed back the launch of the overhauled assistant back in March.
That's right.
And that whole internal struggle led to quite a shakeup, didn't it? They put their Vision Pro lead, Mike Rockwell, in charge of AI and Siri.
Yeah, that was a big move.
Apparently after Tim Cook, the CEO, kind of lost confidence in the previous chief, John Giandrea.
Yeah.
I mean, what does a shakeup like that tell you about the internal pressure?
Oh, it says a lot. I mean, it really speaks volumes about probably the sheer difficulty. Maybe they underestimated how long it would take, the resources needed for this kind of really cutting-edge AI work.
Yeah.
It shows that even a giant like Apple can stumble when pushing into truly new territory. And the report mentions Rockwell had his team test how Anthropic's Claude, OpenAI's ChatGPT, and Google's Gemini handled basic stuff compared to Apple's own models.
Okay, so a direct bake-off.
Pretty much. And what's really interesting, apparently, is that Anthropic's Claude came out looking the most promising, which suggests, that maybe some of these external models have just reached a level of conversational ability or maybe safety or just reliability that Apple's own efforts haven't quite managed yet. It kind of hints where the real practical AI edge might be right now.
It's just so rare to hear Apple admit something isn't quite up to par, isn't it?
It really is.
LLM Siri was, pretty much missing from their big worldwide developers conference this month. And Greg Joswiak, Apple's marketing SVP, actually said straight up that their tech didn't hit our quality standard.
Wow.
That kind of honesty from Apple, it just hammers home how big this AI challenge is for them.
And if you pull back a bit, look at the wider picture, this isn't happening in a vacuum, right? Google's already got Gemini AI features out there for Android, for their Pixel phones.
Sure.
Samsung actually licenses Google's AI for its phones.
Oh.
The article even says Apple is reportedly close to a deal with Perplexity.
Oh yeah, the search startup.
Exactly, and Perplexity already has a deal with Motorola, and apparently Apple execs were even thinking about buying Perplexity earlier this month to, boost their own AI efforts.
So everyone's scrambling, partnering up, or buying tech.
It really points to this broader trend, doesn't it? This AI arms race involves collaboration, licensing, acquisition. Even the biggest players seem to be realizing that trying to lead in every single part of AI might just be too much for one company alone.
Which brings us right back to that central tension for Apple. The company famous for controlling the whole widget, hardware and software.
Mm-hmm.
The Bloomberg report, highlighted by The Verge, does stress that these plans, using a third-party AI for Siri, they're still early stage.
Right, that's important context.
And they're still considering using their own in-house models. So it's not like they've totally given up on building it themselves yet.
Absolutely. It seems like strategic exploration, maybe contingency planning rather than a done deal, at least right now. But honestly, the mere fact that Apple, a company so defined by vertical integration, is even publicly reported to be considering outside partners for something as core as Siri. That just speaks volumes about how demanding advanced AI development is right now and how fierce the competition is.
Okay, so let's quickly recap what we've dug into. Apple's been struggling with its LLM Siri, this next-gen conversational assistant.
Right.
It led to a launch delay back in March and a pretty major leadership swap, with Mike Rockwell taking over AI from John Giannandrea.
Mm-hmm.
We even heard Apple's own SVP, Greg Joswiak, admit at WWDC that their own tech didn't hit our quality standard. That was quite something.
It was.
Reports say they've been actively testing OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude, which apparently looks the most promising, and even Google's Gemini, all tested on Apple's own private cloud.
Yep, the bake-off.
And this is all happening while Google pushes Gemini on Android and Pixel, Samsung uses Google's AI, and Apple itself is reportedly near a deal with Perplexity, which works with Motorola, and even considered buying them.
A complex web.
But crucially, the reports say these plans are still early stage. Apple is still considering its own internal models too.
So it leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? What does Apple even thinking about using external AI for Siri, given how much they prize doing things in-house? What does that really tell us about where advanced AI is today?
Yeah.
And maybe about the incredibly specialized knowledge you need now to actually lead in this field. Could this be the start of a new era? You know, where even the most vertically integrated giants like Apple have to turn to strategic partnerships. And what could that mean for how innovation happens moving forward? Something to think about.